Welcome to another edition of In the Weeds with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind is Oklahoma City's premier casino experience, and there are so many reasons why Riverwind is consistently voted OKC's number one casino, but it all starts with their amazing variety of gaming thrills and excitement. Riverwind's beautiful award-winning environment plays host to more than 2,800 of the latest electronic games, with a huge selection of table games, including blackjack match roulette, and Teddy's favorite, craps. No matter what your game, Riverwind has it in spades and hearts. And to learn more about their gaming promotions and entertainment options, please visit riverwind.com. Riverwind Casino, simply the best. Now, a disappointing result in Bedlam. But once again, the point of In the Weeds is to highlight positive plays that we see in these games. And Ted, we're going to look at two plays here that it's a perfect example of complementary football, right? Your defense gets a stop on 4th and 1, and you reward them by going and punching in the end zone and scoring a touchdown. Sooners could have used more than that, but we are here to break down a couple of really nice plays from these guys in this game. So let's jump into the 4th down stop. And when you look at this one, you've got this view right here. And just to see the situation, 4th and 1, at the time, Oklahoma State is up 17-14 in the football game. Still a ton of time left in the third quarter, but just a massive, massive play in the football game. And luckily, the broadcast had an awesome shot of it. And what do you think? Go ahead and try to describe what the offense is trying to accomplish here first.
Yeah, I think so.
So when you look at there's several things to look at here. First of all, they are in 12 personnel. They've got 2 tight ends. Now, one is lined up at the right tackle spot, and one is in a wing position. They have moved their right tackle, 61, into the left tight end position. So you've got 2 tackles next to each other, guard, center, guard, tight end in the wing. And this is something you will hear us refer to as tackle over. So that is the formation that they've given. So Ted, what type of adjustments are you thinking of when a team comes out in that type of formation?
It's tough. This is one of the hard ones because you'll get tackle over and you'll get unbalanced. And you'll get end over. So they're all different things, and they're all called differently. Now, depending on how the defense, how they want you setting the front. So since this is tackle over, you would typically as Mike backer, it looks like they're in a bare front where the Mike backer's up on the line. I think we've got a stunt here, but this would just be typical. If this isn't tackle over, close left, closing it to the tight end, or it's actually away from the X receiver, but it's almost always to the tight end. So it's easier just to say to the tight end, it's closed left. But since this is tackle over, you have to adjust. If I was to say it was closed left and I didn't make another call, whenever you look at the alignments, it would actually be different because we'd be kicked over an extra guy, like our defensive end where he's lined up right there. He'd actually be lined up further. He would be a gap on the inside, if that makes any sense. So you actually have to say like close left, slide left or something, or just it's tackle over, close left, and everyone knows, okay, it's tackle over. Here's the proper alignment. So, and it has to happen like that because they don't typically show you, hey, look what we're doing. Tackle's coming over. I guess they will sometimes, but often it's, out of a huddle, they come to the line quickly in a short yardage situation, ball snap almost has a timing when you get to the line, it feels like at times. So there's a lot going on pre-snap just to get a line to it.
So looking at what Oklahoma State's offense is trying to accomplish on this play, they run counter. Now, there's a lot of different counter variations, but this is Oklahoma State's most popular one. And whether you want to call this guy an H-back or a wide tight end, I guess technically here he's an H-back with the inline tight end on the ball. So they're going with what I would call GH counter, meaning the guard's the first puller and the H-back is the second puller. So in that counter concept, you leave two guys for the pullers. Now, what's interesting about this is this left tight end, who's actually their right tackle, but this left tight end in this tackle over formation, he is thinking, I need to leave two for the pullers. You know, Desan McCullough out here in space is one. You're leaving that guy for the first puller. Where it gets a little interesting is the alignment of Kobe McKenzie right over him. If he steps down and Kobe McKenzie comes with him, he collects him, right? If he crosses your face, if you feel like you can collect him, you collect him. Then that makes Kip Lewis number 2 because 71's going down. This left guard is going down on the head up nose because this center has to block all the way back on the 3 technique. Because remember, this right guard is pulling and kicking out the first man. You've got a reach and hinge technique from this backside tight end that's in the tackle spot. And then this H-back is pulling around for whoever number 2 is. Now, if 61 was to block down and Kobe McKenzie stays outside of him, then that changes things. Then that guard, because Kobe McKenzie's going to arrive first, that guard's got to take him as the first puller. And then this H-back has to adjust, and most likely he's getting Desan McCullough, and there's going to be a big collision right about here. So there is some, you have to think on the fly if you are the offense. What can throw everything off is if the defense flies off the edge and they bring a pressure and slant directly into where you are trying to run the football, Ted, which we've seen Brent Venables. He's got a knack for knowing what these offenses are going to do in these short yardage situations. So let's roll this counter concept. And you see right here, Robert Spears-Jennings is, he's unblocked. He's unblocked. He comes off the edge and makes the play on a great back. But you see it develop. You see the down blocks. You see the left tight end have to collect Kobe McKenzie. He may or may not have slanted the wrong way. Let's not talk about it. But they fit it nicely, and really, Oklahoma State's got it blocked up. If Robert Spears-Jennings doesn't come flying off the edge and make this play in the backfield, Ted, this is, let me know what you see, but this is just a really nice play from Robert Spears-Jennings in my mind.
Yeah, it is a great play, which, let me say this, before this play, this is 4th and 1. On 3rd and 2, Billy Bowman makes an incredible tackle coming all the way across the formation, one-on-one with Ollie Gordon on a 3rd and 2 and stops him for a gain of 1. So that's to set up this 4th down. So awesome play by Billy Bowman. So what I see here is we've stemmed to bear front. Mike Backer's up on the line. We're in bear, and we're bringing a pressure off the short side. And that's one of the things about a short side as it is here and how you block it. It can kind of leave you exposed a little bit with that short corner. So when Robert Spears-Jennings comes off of here, like the technique, so you have to, on a blitz, you're always a spill player. What that means is if you encounter anyone, you're forcing them to go outside. Okay. So as a spill player, he's not going to be responsible for the quarterback here, right? The replacer who's replacing the man blitzing at depth, I think that's Tawee Walker, he is now the edge player, contained player. He's going to be the quarterback player. So Robert Spears-Jennings doesn't have to worry about seeing the exchange, seeing the mesh. He knows I am a spill player. I can chase that. So he does a really good job by keeping it really flat, really tight, really good job. And that's a great play that you got to make from behind. Now on the front side of this, so we know the front is slanting. So I think Kobe McKenzie's wrong here. Disclaimer: this is just how I see it, and there's a ton of mess ups during a game. So it's not like when a guy's on the wrong side, it's out of the ordinary. We all mess up, and I could be wrong on actually how they're supposed to play it.
You know who I think, and I think you're right, because I think when you look at what OU's defense is doing with RSJ coming, with Bothroyd slanting, all these guys hitting to the gap to the offense's left, you would assume Kobe McKenzie is supposed to come this way.
Yeah, I think he should come off of on the down block from 61, the left tackle. He should come off of it, and since he has Deshaun McCullough on the outside, he should wrong arm it or spill it. So he would spill. See how McCullough stays outside of it? Since he's the outside player, if he encounters a blocker, he's going to be outside of it. So Kobe McKenzie would be inside of the puller and outside of 16. And Kip Lewis, who you can see at the inside backer spot, he's tracking the puller. He would come tight off of that double team and wait. If he comes upfield, he'll get kicked out. So he's got to kind of wait, almost hide behind the double and come inside of all of the pullers, because they're going to try and wash everything out. You see that tight gap? Ollie Gordon had to flatten it out because of Robert Spears-Jennings. He wants to hit right off of those linemen's butt, and they want to get that kick out. So you see that seam right there? That's where, if we played it right, you'd have Kip Lewis would be coming right tight right there, that window. So it's tough, and this all happens really quick. So great job. It's a great play call, and awesome by Robert Spears-Jennings, knowing I don't have to worry about the quarterback. I don't have to throttle. I'm not contained. I'm a blitzer. I'm a spill player. I've got that running back, and I can come tight as I can and flatten out down the line of scrimmage.
Just a tremendous play. Now, the biggest complaint I've got, first of all, love how Robert Spears-Jennings lets you know that he was the one that made the play. Love that. Yeah, like raise the hand. Raise the hand, RSJ. You definitely deserve it. One thing that needs a little work. Let's look at this handshake. Wait, was that a we've got Kip Lewis's mouthpiece falling out. We've got all kinds of things. The play was tremendous, but the handshake, I mean, we're missing we're not even getting fingered on, mouthpieces flying, the hand gestures off.
We overshot the first one and undershot the second one.
Oh, dang. That needs a little work, but hey, a tremendous play.
No, it was. It's
in
awesome.
A huge spot.
And you can see that's the difference right there between, that's why you see a bunch of those 4th and short plays. If it's not stopped right there and someone doesn't make contact, it's gone. Right? If you get in the wrong gap. And they had us kicked out a little bit right there, and had we not flattened out and made that play, it's gone.
So from one counter scheme to another, and this is complementary football. The Sooners could have used more of this, especially in this sequence in the third quarter where the defense was playing really, really well. But this is a couple plays after they get that turnover on downs on that huge play. This is Tawee Walker's first carry of the game, his first touch. And it's clear he's not 100% once you see him running, but there's a lot to look at here. First of all, the formation. The Sooners have trips into the boundary. So you got 3 wide receivers into the boundary, which can create an interesting conundrum for the defense. And then you've got Austin Stogner here as the nub tight end to the field, which I believe Lebby, he wanted this formation because he wanted to get this type of surface from Oklahoma State. And Xavier Benson had himself a heck of a day. want for them. They're kind of nickel, Sam Backer. He's a good player. But you get a corner in this situation with the way that they adjust to nub tight end. So now it's
Usually that
counter.
player is 11 is usually lined up at in that C gap at like 5 to 7 yards. So he's in an interesting place considering the formation, but that's why we always talk about it, like bringing the corner into the fit. This is exactly what we talk about whenever we mention that.
So this is a cleaner picture than what you just saw on the fourth down play from Oklahoma State. It's simple. You're running GT counter to the tight end. You're leaving 2 for the pullers. 1, 2, in whatever order you get to them. Right. So that means this tray block, right? Gap scheme double team between a tight end and a tackle. If you tuned into the last In the Weeds, you know that already.
That's right.
But that means you're leaving the 2 guys for the pullers. That means you're taking your tray block, your double team to the next guy, which is Nicholas Martin. Now, with it being counter, right guard Matoyer, he's going down. Rame is making the long trip back to block back on the defensive end, which is not always a ton of fun. But then you've got Caden Green pulling. He is going to kick out the first guy he encounters. And then you've got Walter Rouse coming around, being the wrapper, the second puller, who's going to fit up inside off of Caden Green's kick out. So it's pretty simple. Now, one thing that's interesting is Colin Oliver out here. And remember, you got trips into the boundary. Oklahoma's thrown a bunch of the RPO stuff, right? The stuff at or behind the line of scrimmage to some of the wide receivers up to this point. And it's interesting because I believe this play is a give all the way. I don't think the bubble is even an option, but Farouk carries out the bubble over here. And you just can't see it on the screen. So it's the best blocked play of the year for Oklahoma is what it is. Mm-hmm. It's as clean as it can possibly be. You see the double team. First of all, the displacement they get on 92. I mean, Stogner and Tyler Guyton just throw this guy out of the club. I mean, creating that much movement at the point of attack and counter, that's you can see the lane that it creates for the puller for Green, because the more space you create on the tray block, that gives Green his kick out. If he gets movement, it just makes that gap even bigger. And then Rouse has a ton of space to pull through there and hit 11 with a head of steam, which he absolutely does. And look at Caden Green. This is becoming a theme, me just kind of salivating with Caden Green blocks. But you see one thing, Colin Oliver out here, right? Look at Dylan Gabriel's eyes. I think it's a give the whole way. You now can see Farouk on the screen where he's carrying out the bubble. He freezes them just a little bit, right? Just a little hesitation. So this develops perfectly. Awesome tray block. Awesome job by Stogner getting up to the backer and walling him off. Caden Green is just burying that guy into that turf. You'll see Rouse takes his guy basically off the screen. Camera, you can't even see him anymore. And then Tawee Walker, he's unhitching it. Oh, he's going. Not the most spirited effort at a tackle. Maybe he's trying to punch the ball out. That's what he looks like. But
punch out. See if we get a fumble through the end zone.
Yeah, just a really well executed play.
The double team or the tray block, in my opinion, is the key block here. So here's how it should be fit as a defense. So if you pause it right there, okay, 92 should be in the gap between those 2 players, trying to hold point. All right, number 1 is going to be outside the first puller. Okay, 11 is going to be inside the first puller, outside the second puller. Martin, number 4, is going to come tight off that double team, and he's going to fit outside of Stogner and inside of the second puller. And Colin Oliver is the run through or he's the backside player. He'll fit backside of all of that. So like the double team, they capture the inside backer and the defensive end, which is impressive. Done. It's over at that point.
And then you see too, he almost just gets lost in the wash. I think at this point right here, I think he's a little concerned about the cutback lane as well. Mm-hmm. But I'm not sure how much he can even see Tawee Walker with how stout he is. And you got Guyton and Stogner, you got bodies in front of you. The vision's not good. And once he freezes his feet, it's over, even with Tawee Walker being at what? 50%, 55%
at best. And that's why those, so for a defense, whenever the ball snapped and boom, like freeze it right where it is. Now, if you're two and now you're trying to come up and you got a defensive end that's holding in that, it defines everything. So know you can go ahead and get over the top because you got your backside player coming. But now that everyone's captured, it's all a mess, and he knows he's going to have to make someone right, but he doesn't know who it's going to be.
Let's speed this up for Tawee so he looks like normal speed. And this may be the best part. It's clear he's in a ton of pain. He can't stop, but just a little glance right into the student section.
Oh, and he dead armed him too.
Just a little
arms to the side.
Just a little. I've arrived. Yeah, you guys thought I wasn't going to play. I've arrived. Just a great play, right? It reminds you of how beautiful football can be in the run game when you're detailed, you're physical, you get in the formation you want to be in. They line up exactly the way that you thought they were going to line up, and then I think that is as clean of a run play as OU has had all season long, Ted.
Blocked up beautifully and the perfect end of the field. I don't think there's a better touchdown you can score than just a totally blocked up gap scheme play from about 20 out going into the student section of the school you're playing, right? That's pretty cool.
Pretty great. That'll do it for this episode of In the Weeds. Please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you really like this, you're enjoying this content, you can show your appreciation by leaving what's known as a super thanks down that way. Any support would be appreciated. All right. We'll see you next time here on In the Weeds.